welcome to the final part of putting our Peavey guitar together. Just want to say I got a bad cable and my audio was pretty bad at the beginning of the video, but it does get better. Please stick with it, it will get better. Thanks a lot. Hi there, it's Cycle Camp again, and back from the parts store, and we're going to make a shot at finishing up our repair on this Peavey beginner's guitar that I got at a tag sale or flea market actually in Cape Cod a couple months ago. So basically what I bought at the store was this bag of parts, which is the pins for the strings, and it also includes, which I really don't need, but it includes an extra end pin for a guitar strap, but this guitar already has an end pin for a guitar strap, so I don't really need to put one of those on. The other thing that I was able to pick up was I was able to pick up a new saddle. And as far as we can tell, this one looks like it's compensated properly for this style of guitar. I looked all over the internet and found a bunch of similar pictures of this and was able to zoom in and realize that this guitar has compensation. There's compensation cuts in the bridge here and here. So when you stick this in the saddle, hopefully it will be compensated properly and it'll intonate properly, but we'll worry about that when I actually get ready to try to string it up. So right now the biggest problem is after I re-glued it, I remember I told you that the soundboard actually broke underneath the holes for the pegs, and as a result I can't get the pegs in far enough to do the job without fearing that I will damage them. You can see they're very tight. So basically what I'm going to do, I'll show this from the side, see it's pretty proud, and you don't really stick these in real hard, it's actually the pressure of the string that keeps them in. So what I'm going to do is I've gotten a set of drills out, and here's a drill that just about goes through all of these. This one goes through pretty good, so I was going to step to the next one up. Let me just, before I do that, let me just try this one and see. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to step to the next one up. I assume they normally taper drill these, but I don't know for a fact that they do that all the time. Please excuse me for a second, I got to answer the phone. Okay, well that turned out to be a call from some resort area wanting me to go have a fabulously discounted vacation, which I don't really need. So what we're going to do is we've picked the drill, and we're going to do a quick hole check here. Now these normally are tapered, but I unfortunately do not own a tapered drill to do this with, and it's still not enough. So I'm going to step up to the next bit size. I probably should be using a 64 set. Actually, this is a 64 set. 9, 10, yep. So that's good. Because you don't, this is stuff you want to go kind of easy while you're doing this. We'll try it again. And when we find the drill that works, we'll go ahead and drill the other holes. That's really close. So I'm going to just... It's still pretty tight. I guess we'll step up one more. I don't really want to, but... Pretty close. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to place the saddle, and then we're going to restring this and see what it sounds like. I'm not going to glue the saddle down because I don't know if it's going to be too high or not. It doesn't make any sense to glue it down if it needs to be shaved a little bit. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is string this up. Now when I string these up, I use a string winder, but one of my favorite things is one of these little gizmos. And I don't know if you guys that play or not have one of these things, but it's a great all-around guitar tool, the GUIZMO gizmo, and it comes with a, it's a folding, it's almost like a multi-tool, and this is great for cutting off strings and stuff. It also has a set of commonly used screwdrivers and also a couple of Allen wrench tips for like adjusting necks. On this particular guitar, the truss rod is accessed from inside the sound hole. Some of them are accessed. There's a plate up here on the head, and you access it from there. But the other thing that's nice about this is it has this little flip-out joint, and in the flip-out joint you can either put a flashlight, or the thing I use it for most often, your string winder, and remover. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong here. So here's the string winder, and the string winder, it also has a separate thing you can use for the string winder. So you can either use it in the tool, or it has a separate little handle for the string winder. So I'm going to use the separate handle because it's a little quicker and I don't have to worry about making a mistake. This is metal and I don't want to mar the guitar any worse than it is. So what I'm going to do, the other thing I was going to mention is I'm going to put Martin strings on this only because I happen to have them, but these are extra lights, and that way it'll put a little less pressure on this. Since it's already torn out once, I certainly don't want to run heavy gauge strings on it and take the chance of tearing it up again. So we're going to be putting Martin acoustic guitar strings. They're the 80-20 bronze strings, extra light. You probably can't read this, but it's 0.010 to 0.047 is the string diameter, so they're pretty light. And I'll probably, fast forward through a lot of this. But this is what we're going to do next, is put the strings on. Okay, so we got all the strings on, and we do have a little bit of trouble with the tuning pegs. I overdrilled the holes a little bit, so these aren't set as well as they should be, but I can fix that at a later time. My own dumbness for doing that. And basically what we've done now is we've got all the strings on, and we're trying to get it in tune, which is of course the hard part because it hasn't been running so long and they're brand new strings. So we're waiting for letting them relax a little bit. I haven't trimmed the excess from the head yet, so. let's take the cutters, and since we got it in tune, like I said, it's probably going to have to sit, you know, a little while to get it to relax and all that, but let's trim off the what's left over on the strings here. Of course, while I was away, not filming, I discovered I had 2 strings on in the wrong position because I unfortunately cannot count to 6 regularly, so that was a bit of a problem. But but other than that, so the only 2 issues I've had so far are the you know, putting the strings on incorrectly, and the issues I'm having with the pegs. And the peg issue was self-inflicted, so I can't really complain about that too much. Okay, like I said, this little Quizmo, this is a great little tool. If you have friends that are guitar players and you're looking for something to give them for Christmas, this is a great little tool package. I'm pretty sure I got this one at Guitar Center. I'm not positive, but we'll see. Sounds low again? No. Something else I was taught by a friend of mine who's a studio technician. Since you can't actually tune a guitar perfectly, you know, across its entire range, his suggestion was when you tune it, always pluck it right at the midpoint, and you'll get the best tuning out of it across the entire guitar. I don't know how true that is, but it seems to work for me. Alright. Let's take it down. So it's got a little bit of a buzz on a couple of the strings. I'm actually fairly certain that's not the height above the, well, except for maybe on low E. I don't hear too much buzzing. So I expect that that's probably from the loose tuning pegs being just a little too loose, so I may have to play around with that one. For those Cat Stevens lovers in the crowd. Anyway, so I mean, it seems to work. It'll be a great little beater guitar. You know, something to keep next to the chair and play around with. It'll be interesting to see if that glue starts to let go. Hopefully with these thin strings it'll work out pretty well. But that's basically the end of it, and hopefully we'll see how it goes. I may, like I said, I may go do a little more work. I may plug these holes and re-drill them to try to get these a little tighter. But they're holding the strings, even though they're not all perfectly flush with the bottom of the with the top of the bridge. But as long as they're working, I really don't care that much. And you know, hey, what do you want for 25 bucks? So 25 bucks for the guitar broken. Obviously my labor doesn't count. I spent $16 for the pegs and the saddle. and I already had the strings because I have lots of extra strings hanging around because I have a lot of different guitars hanging around. So figure, you know, what, 25 and 16, 25, 35, 41. So, you know, 40, 50 bucks. The guitar is probably worth 80, 90 bucks. So, you know, it's a good deal, but it was fun, and that's the important thing, is to have fun doing stuff like this. Hope you enjoyed watching me struggle with this, and have a great afternoon.